Hi there, in this video clip I want to talk about alternative methods of extracting metals from the ores. These ores occur in the ground, things like aluminium ore, iron ore, copper ore, and then they're subjected to a range of chemical treatments, physical treatments, electrolysis, etc. And these are expensive. Also, the amount of ores you get, they get less and less and less as man gets greater demand for things made from those ores. For example, copper piping and tubing used in central heating systems. It's used in electrical wires and cables. So what I want to look at today is two biological methods which can be used to extract metals and metal ions from low-grade ores. They are ores that don't contain a lot of the metal to start with, maybe because they're scarce, like silver and gold. Right, let's look at them. These two methods are bio-leaching and Phyto Mining, P-H-Y, Phyto Mining. By the way, phyto means plant, and these both use natural bacteria to produce metal ions. Let's look at the first one. If we took a solution and it contains metal ions, what we can do is we take that solution and it's treated with bacteria. The bacteria, I'm using the word loosely, digested, and they then excrete metal or metallic ions. The metallic ions are then subjected to physical and chemical means to produce a metal, maybe copper. The second method which I've mentioned is phyto, P-H-Y, phyto mining, and this is in which you've got a solution, maybe from waste ores or water tanks or in the ground where they've done the mining of the main ore, and you've got this waste product that contains a solution of the ore or low-grade ore. And what we do is we plant, would you believe this, plants in it. There you go. For example, broccoli. So if that contains low-grade ores of copper ions, the ions go into the roots and spread throughout the leaves. Mind you, the drawback is it takes quite some time, doesn't it? So they go in there, and after a time they are then harvested. The heads are chopped off. That is painful. And what happens is then those broccoli spears, which contain copper ions, for example, are then burnt to produce ash. And those ashes are rich in ions, it may be of copper. And suppose I've got the solutions of ions, how do I get the metal from it? Well, let's look at two cases. How do I get copper from a solution of copper ions from mining or from leaching? The answer is there's two methods: displacement and electrolysis. So, how do we get copper ions, for example, from a solution of copper ions? How do you get copper from a solution of copper ions? Two methods: displacement and electrolysis. Let's look at them. The displacement, that's a solution of copper sulfate, and if I bung in waste scrap iron in there, scrap iron, Fe, what happens is the iron is more reactive than the copper, so I've bunged in my bits of iron. The iron displaces the copper, and the copper then becomes, copper is then coating that iron. So this is all what I've said. There is the iron and the copper sulfate. I get copper deposited, and eventually I'll get iron sulfate. Okay, that's the displacement reaction. The more reactive metal displaces the lesser reactive metal from its solution. And the second is electrolysis. We take an electrolytic cell, which consists of, this is a electrode of carbon, this is an electrode of carbon. I'm going to connect it up to a battery. That is positive, that is negative, and there's my copper solution. What happens is I turn on the juice there, and the copper ions migrate, move to the negative electrode, which is called the cathode. So these positive ions, by the way, are called cations. The cations migrate to the cathode, and it's deposited, and I get copper deposited on that. By the way, just for those who are watching this video, these are done live, no preparation. I just look at what you should know, and then I go through it, I hope, in a logical sequence. And if I make mistakes, I'm like all of you out there watching this video, far from perfect, but I hope it helps, and I've done today to explain the chemistry or science behind the extraction, new extraction methods, alternative methods for the extraction of metals using biology.